Hey guys, Jeff here with the Common Sense Camper. Alright, I'm going to start getting into some lightweight backpacking. And I can thank my good friend Alex Banks. He does a lot of that. And so he's going to be helping me through this journey of getting my gear put together for lightweight backpacking. Now, I've done a lot of research on it. I haven't done a lot of trips. So it's amazing to me that you can actually buy a decent backpack nowadays that's like a pound to a pound and a half with shoulder straps and everything. So I'm going to be taking you through this journey with me with the lightweight camping or ultralight backpacking, hiking, whatever you want to call it. So I thought I'd start with the first thing that I bought, and that's this. This is a BRS fuel thing. Okay, so this is the stove. Alright, and the stuff sack. Neat little gadget. These little arms kind of fold up like that. And you just turn that around, put that in the little sack. I'd say it's probably 2 inches by 2 inches, so it's very small. And I'm going to weigh it, and it weighs almost nothing. In fact, I should probably use a digital scale, because this is, if I'm reading this correctly, it's like 0.3 ounces. So it weighs absolutely nothing. So for an ultralight pack, this is definitely the way to go. So what I'm going to do is we're going to set this up. Now, one thing I noticed when I was messing around with this has little knobs on it with like a little recess in it. And what's nice about that is that when you get these up, they kind of lock into place, which is nice. So you know that these little feet are not going to wobble around. So I'm going to place it on the canister. Like that. Make sure it's off so it doesn't hiss at me. Like that. Alright, and then I'm going to take 1 cup of water. I'm going to pour it into the cup. Place it on there. And one nice thing is that because these have little teeth on it, that's really secure. I don't feel like I have to worry about this cup sliding off or anything. So pretty impressive. So I have the stopwatch here. I'm going to go ahead and get that set up. I'm going to turn this on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on halfway. I'm not going to turn this all the way up, because on a little stove like this, if you turn this all the way up, these little feet are going to glow completely red, and I don't know that that's good for the stove. I mean, eventually these things could bend or break, so I'm only going to put this on half for the sake of testing it. I'm going to turn it on a little bit. Oop. Alright, so this is all the way up. That's insane. So that's about halfway. I'm going to go ahead and set this on here. I'm going to hit start. And we'll just sit back and see how long it takes to boil. So to me, to qualify as boiling, I want to see some bubbles, you know, not just little pops of water. I want to see some bubbles, and I want to see steam coming out of the cup. I can tell you this, that puts off a lot of heat. That is a very hot little stove. And even on halfway, the feet are still glowing red. So we're getting a little bit of movement in there already. We're at about 45 seconds now. And we are at 1 minute. We're at about 1.5 minutes. It's true what they say, a watched pot never boils. Okay, so at this point right now, I'm going to stop it. I've got steam and I've got rumbling water in there. So that's, I'll turn this off. So that's at 2 minutes, 21 seconds. Now I can tell you this, if I had this thing all the way up, that probably would have boiled in less than a minute. But that's really not how I'm going to use it. So there's no sense in testing it that way. You don't need flames coming out of the bottom to boil the water. I mean, I don't know of any emergency boiling situations for coffee. So 2 minutes, 21 seconds, 1 cup of water on the BRS stove. Pretty impressive. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break away. I'm going to get another cup of cold water. Actually, it's not cold, it's just tap water. So whatever comes out of my tap water, that's how it's coming out. And for comparison, we're going to put this up against the Jetboil and just see how well it compares to the Jetboil. Alright, so I'm back. So here's the Jetboil. Now, one thing that I have discovered with comparisons and testing is that a lot of times people like to modify or sway the decision by modifying how things are intended to be used. It goes without saying, I'm not a huge Jetboil fan, but if I'm going to compare it to this, alright, I'm going to use this exactly the way it's intended to be used, which means it's going to be used with the cup, it's going to be used with this, and the lid. This is a whole system. There's a reason for all the components of this, including the cup. The bottom of this cup is designed to boil water very quickly, as well as the little cozy that's on it. The benefit to this, after you've boiled the water, is that this is going to stay hot for a very long time because of the technology in the bottom of the Jetboil cup and the little cozy that goes around it. Whereas with something like this, alright, you're just heating up a cup of water. There's not a lot of technology involved with it, and this is going to cool down a lot quicker than the Jetboil will. So I'm going to use it the way it's intended to be used. I'm also going to give you different weight variances depending on how you're going to use it. What I mean by that is if you're going to use this system, you got to weigh the whole thing. So that's going to be the burner unit and the lid. Alright, and if I weigh that, that comes in at 11 ounces for the whole thing. Now there are a couple other components that you can get with this. You can get one of these, alright, and basically if you don't want to use the Jetboil cup, if you just want to use the burner, which is typically how I have used this in the past, you can just put this on your fuel canister, and then you can put this inside of the ring. Alright. I always fight with this thing. Like this, and then you can use whatever container you want. But I'm not testing it that way, because I know there are diehard Jetboil people out there, and they want to see this compared as a system, not as just little individual components. So that being said, I'm going to put this on the fuel canister. And one of the nice things about the Jetboil is at the bottom of this they have these little slotted grooves, and then there's little dimples inside of the actual fuel, and you turn that, and that makes it a very stable system. It also comes with plastic feet. So that's the complete set. I am going to use the lid. It's going to be kind of hard to monitor. I usually look for steam. I will peel it back a little bit just to see how how quickly we're going here with getting to a boil. So I'm going to again put 1 cup of water in this. Hopefully you can see that. So I got 1 cup of water. I'm going to pour that in here. Alright, we're going to get this going. And again, I'm going to do this at about half. Okay? That's how I would use it, at half. So that's full right there. And that's full. That's about half right there. So I'm going to put the lid on it. And then I'm going to set it on there. Like so. Alright, and we'll just see how fast that goes on the timer. I'm going to add probably 2 seconds to that just because I was a little late to the timer, but whatever, sue me. Well, I guess I don't want to say that. Jetboil could sue me. So the other thing here, like I said, it's going to be hard to monitor when this thing actually boils, but I have a rough idea of how fast 1 cup of water will boil on this. So when we get to about 55 minutes or seconds, I'm going to check and see if it's boiling yet. But usually you can see the steam coming out of it first. So we're about half a minute right now. We've got steam, but no boiling yet. And we are boiling. Stop. So we're at 1 minute 32 seconds with the Jetboil. So, what did we learn? Well, again, I've never been a big fan of the Jetboil, and I think the biggest reason why is it's a very large container, and it doesn't have a lot of multi-use to it. It's basically a very well-designed system for boiling water very quickly. It's very stable, it's very secure, it's very well made. It has all the components you need. You know, it's got the little strainer on the top of the lid. It's got the little mouth little cut out there if you want to make coffee. But one of the things I don't like about it is that I find myself just boiling water with it. That's all it does. Use it. So I guess for me as getting into ultralight backpacking, it comes down to multifunction and weight. For me, this is a no-brainer. At 0.3 ounces, it doesn't even exist in my bag. I can use it with a cup. I can use it with a pan, a skillet. I could put it on low, use like a doubled up aluminum foil. It just has a lot more uses than, say, a Jetboil. And again, I'm not bashing Jetboil because I know people that swear by it, but for me, it's never been something that I go to all the time. It's kind of like a novelty item. It's kind of cool to take out once in a while, but it's just not something that I'm going to use in an ultralight hiking situation. I'm going to definitely go with this. It's a lot lighter, it's multifunctional, and it's 15-16 bucks. So, but again, Alex Banks, my good friend, has done a lot of this type of backpacking, and when he showed me this thing, I'm like, wow, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And when I first saw it, it looked to me to be like a $30 item, and it wasn't. It's 15-16 bucks on Amazon. So this is Jeff with the Common Sense Camper, camping out.